An action-packed morning today. Good morning, good morning. I just wanted to come live this morning and welcome all of you that are tuning in. Maybe it's your first time tuning in. Maybe for some of you, you have been following me for a long time. But I want to start by saying just thank you for being here. Drop in the comments where you're coming in from and how long you have been following No Guts, No Story. So, for those of you that don't know, No Guts, No Story is a book that I wrote in 2011. 2009, actually. Dave wrote a book in 2011. And No Guts, No Story was really just a memoir of our life, like what it actually took to make it, the good, the bad, the ugly. It was not just about raising children, but overcoming adversity. It was about putting family first. It was how God showed up in my life when I was wondering if he was there. It was real estate investing. It was network marketing. It was starting traditional businesses, all the things. And what I want to say to you is whatever chapter you're in right now, I want to help you find the opportunity for you to succeed. Not what worked for me, not what my goals and dreams were, not my philosophy, but like what do you need to really succeed? And so when you think about that, you got to get in alignment with your values. You got to get in alignment with your dreams and goals. I thought I wanted to be an author of a book. And I will never forget it. I was on a best-selling author run. There was Sarah Palin's book, there was Barack Obama's book, and there was me right in the middle. You would think I would have arrived. You would think I was like, oh my God, this is the greatest dream of my life. I remember calling Dave every airport, every bookstore signing, every event about the book, saying, I want to come home. I want to be at Chance's last football games. I want to be there with my family. And I realized quickly that being a best-selling author was not my dream, right? I heard a guy sing a song the other night at a concert, and he said, everybody wants the $1 million home. Everybody wants the mansion. Everybody thinks if I get this mansion, I'm going to be happy. And he was singing the song, and maybe you guys have heard it. The song is called House, but in the song, he said, the porch swing isn't swinging and the doorbell isn't ringing. And these 4 empty cement walls in this house don't make a home. And I was thinking to myself, every single one of us is on our own journey. And sometimes we don't know why we're on this journey. Sometimes the adversity does not make sense. But I do believe, and I talk about this verse all the time, Jeremiah 29:11. It says, for I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you, not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. And sometimes those things just don't make sense, right? So last night, we did an event for Invisible Angels. And if you don't know about Invisible Angels, go look it up, invisibleangels.foundation. So last night, I am in a hot park in a t-shirt and jeans, and I am sweating to death. And I am watching 100 people get in line saying, is there any more food? Is there any more socks? Are there any more buckets? And I am watching volunteers from our company, Julia Polly, who came all the way from Florida, a 40-year trauma nurse, retired, that said, I'm just in alignment with you. I want to be able to get on the front lines and serve. Now, we had not met in person. And I was late to the event because of a traffic accident on 71. So I get there. I am unloading bags of clothes. She is standing in line, mixing up the mushrooms, giving them to homeless people on the street. And I'm just praying, like, Lord, use me in whatever way that you can. Now, a lot of you don't know my story, and a lot of my story I don't share. I am a huge believer in not giving any power to what you don't want. So a lot of things you're dealing with, nobody knows that you're dealing with, but God will always show up when you pray with discernment. Sometimes I've wondered when I'm looking at Invisible Angels nonprofit account and there's $150 in there, like, who am I to think that I'm really going to be able to build a campus, create a recovery center, fund it, help people that are battered women or fentanyl addicts or homeless children on the streets with their mom. Like, who am I to think that I could do this? But when God shows up, you're going to be saying, like, why not me? Why not right now? And what you have to do is, in the midst of your current situation, project, like your reticulator activating system, your subconscious mind has to project that it's all going to work out. It's going to happen. How it's going to happen is none of your business. You have to believe that it is going to happen. And God really spoke to me last night. Here comes my grand dog, Bane, the big Doberman. Good morning, Baney. Good morning. You want to say hi? Okay, yep. Hi. He's so beautiful. So beautiful. He's a puppy, but he's huge. Anyway, last night I was thinking about this. And there are a lot of things that have happened in my life that I haven't really shared because it's not really mine to share. And honestly, it's nobody's business, right? When the devil's at work, you don't want to give him any power. So last night, one of the very first girls to come up in line is obviously fresh out of the hospital. She has a band on her arm, like maybe she fled the hospital. I don't know. There was 2 people last night that needed an ambulance or emergency assistance. That's never happened before, ever. And this is like my 4th week monthly doing this in the park. But what was so crazy is Julia was there. She flew in from Florida. She said, Barb, I want to volunteer. She's a nurse. She's a trauma nurse. And she takes this young girl over into the park for over an hour and is just working with her. Now, I have a huge heart for addiction and recovery, but I have a huge, huge heart for women who are in relationships where they're being beaten on the regular and they don't know if they could ever be loved if they don't stay in that abusive relationship. I also think sometimes women don't know their worth. So they keep allowing certain things to happen because they're thinking, if I didn't have this person, would I have anybody? Or their dad or their boyfriend or whoever has told them, you're a slimy this, or you're a filthy that, or you're a redhead, you're ugly, freckle face, all kinds of words that I have been called in my lifetime. Here's the thing that I know. When you step into your story and you're in alignment with what resonates with you and you serve and you witness and you just show up, when you move, God's going to move. And I don't know what's your best opportunity in life to succeed and have your goals and dreams. But here's what I do know. You staying stuck is not going to get you from where you are to where you want to be. And what it really comes down to is identity. You're literally having an identity crisis, right? I see so many moms right now moving their children to college and they literally don't know what to do. They don't even know, like, who am I? What is going on right now? Because they've never been this person that they are right now without being in control of, I should make the lunch. I should get the supper. What time are they going to be home? Did they make curfew? Did they get to work? Did they get their homework done? So sometimes in life, there's a sudden shift where you're like, who is this person? What am I even doing? And here's one of the things that I have found. Going back to within, right? What is really within you? I thought I wanted to be an author and I wrote an amazing book. Like, it's a book that if you start it, you will probably call in sick to work to finish it because it's literally that suspenseful, but it's true. And my story has empowered so many people, whether they're dealing with grief or self-esteem or bankruptcy or someone battling cancer or the loss of someone with suicide or guilt or shame or being able to just really believe that you do deserve success and financial freedom and love and happiness and someone that's going to treat you like a queen and someone that is going to experience life and your dreams and goals with you. Sometimes when the funds are low and the debts are high, sometimes when your heart is broken and you have felt a certain way, you're missing what was because of your identity. You've got to let go of the past. The anxiety in your life right now is either the fear of the future, and fear is false evidence appearing real. It may never even happen. Or it's regret from the past. What if? It could have been, it should have been, it would have been. And I was so guilty of this, hanging on to everything that I thought could be and not actually looking at what was. The minute that I realized I am enough, I am going to step into my power. If everyone abandons me and leaves me, and I do have fear, and my funds are low, and my debts are high, and it looks grim, guess what? God's got this. And I'm going to step into what's in my heart and the calling that He has put on my heart. And when I move, God's going to move. I want you to say that with me right now. If I move, God's going to move. If you have a child in trouble, if you have a boyfriend cheating, if you have a husband that's not good, if you have a parent that's sick, if you have someone in your family struggling with addiction or recovery or thoughts of suicide, all the things, let me tell you my best advice to you. You cannot control any of it. You think you can, but you can't. You cannot change. Believe it or not, you can't change anything that is happening in their life. You cannot cure anything that someone else has. And you're definitely not going to be able to control it. So the one thing that you can control is your thoughts. The other thing that you can control is what you speak. And the other thing that you can control is how you react. So quit expecting you and everyone else around you, and you be the light. Sometimes you say, well, if they would go to church, if they just had God in their life, and the more you say that, the less they want what you have. Sometimes you say, if they would just stop drinking, if they would just stop using drugs, and they're looking at you like if you would stop breathing, it would be just as easy for us to both accomplish this. I never understood that. I truly thought I could change everyone, control everyone, cure everything. I was not good. The minute that I got better, everything around me got better. And right now I am doing an experiment with our inner circle in our company, and it's going to be absolutely amazing. If you tuned in last week, you might have done the prompt that we did where you literally, well, I haven't given you the prompt yet, but I did give you an assignment to rate yourself in all of those areas. And as you rate yourself in your love, your romance, the fun that you have, your finances, are you really doing what you need to do in your career? Are you really serving and doing what you feel like God's purpose is in your life? Are you fit? Are you moving your body? Are you taking care of your health? Maybe your health is at a 1, but your faith is at a 10. Well, here's what I'm going to tell you. You can pray that God will give you everything you need to get well. But if you don't move with discipline and action, He can give you a beautiful garden. If you don't water it and tend to it, it's going to have weeds. He's not miraculously going to take out all the weeds. You've got to take some action. When you think about your finances, some of you say, oh, I just wish God would bless my business. I just wish He would give me opportunity. Where is your opportunity? Do you even know what you would wake up every single day and just love it? Now, I love what I do. I love direct sales. I love empowering women and men. I love helping couples be able to work together as a power couple. I love helping people burn their mortgage and pay off their debt and invest in smart things that are assets instead of liabilities. Like, I love all that. But I can't make you rich. I can give you opportunity. I can absolutely not make you rich. You have to move so that God can move in your life. And one of the things that I thought about last night is I don't necessarily love disciplining myself and being at an event or on a Zoom or on a phone call rather than just sitting in a rocking chair and holding crew like I got to do the last 2 days, or jumping in the swimming pool with Rose like I did last week and teaching her how to swim. Like, that's what I love. but there are opportunities that will give you the freedom. There are opportunities all around that will give you the lifestyle. There are opportunities all around you that will allow you to give impact in the world. And when you serve and you bring value, the money will chase you down. Some of you got this all wrong. You're saying, if I had the money, I would serve. If I had the income, I would invest in the opportunity. All of this is so backwards. I am going to tell you, I don't care which avenue you chose to make money, whether you were to join me in my direct selling business, or whether you said, I want to be a business owner, or whether like the med spa that I created and you said, I want to open a spa, the dance school that I had and you said, I want to open a studio, the real estate that we have built. Oh my gosh, you get me thinking about real estate. I am like a child at Christmas. I love real estate investing. But here's what I know. God's plan in my life was not to teach real estate investing. I'll sit down with a cup of coffee with you and you could say, this is what I have, and we'll find a house and we'll invest and we can make $100,000 together, just like that. But my calling is not for me to go find a house and flip with everybody every day. I did that and we made so much money and my heart was so empty, because my calling is a mental health movement. My calling is what I did last night in the park. I'm going to tell you guys, there's a girl on here, Jamaica Williams, celebrating 5 years of sobriety. And, we all have things in our life that are values. If you did your top 5 values, one of the greatest examples is I did this with my mother-in-law once. And because of her upbringing, her values and my values were so very different. Both very powerful women, both very loving women, both amazing moms, both very obsessed with our grandchildren and our family. But we were so different because in her top 5 values was education, which that has never been in my top 5. In fact, I could go down a whole controversial conversation with you about education. That does not mean anything to me. I'm sorry if that offends you, but I'm a C student at best. And I watch a lot A students that I graduated with who don't even use their knowledge, right? But if I can find someone with a story that has passion and a work ethic, we can go change the world. And I've done it, and I've helped so many other people do it. When I think about Jamaica's story, I literally want to take her story and go live with it and change everybody's life. And I think about the power that she has within that she has no idea, and the millions of dollars that she could create to change the world with just her story. The girl last night in the park, one of them, I recorded her story. She was running through the park with a little girl that was about 3. And I interviewed her. And she was homeless with a little 3-year-old and just recently got into a shelter. But when that little 3-year-old was born, she was a methamphetamine addict. And they took the little 3-year-old from her. Her name was Trinity, which I thought was so appropriate. Trinity is a little 3-year-old girl in a park with a mom lining up to get food and clothes and drinks and whatever that we had there to give away, and prayer. Maybe she came for the prayer table. Maybe she came because she needed to meet Julia. I don't know. But her previous neighbor was there. He brings her there. And he said, I was her neighbor when she was a dealer, when she lost her children, when she was a meth addict, when she got beaten daily in an abusive relationship. He said, I know her story, and she is literally a walking miracle. Now, she's still in the middle of her story, but I have so much respect for her because her and Trinity survived something that most people don't have the strength to survive or get away from. And she was in the park giving hope to people that are in their chapter 1 when she's in her chapter 20. You can't compare your chapter that you're in to your chapter 2 to someone else's chapter 200. But what you can do is get up. What you can do is share your story. What you can do is make a little move so that God can move. God cannot move if you don't move. You literally have to ask him. You literally have to say, I surrender this. I need you to take over, because obviously I can't do it on my own. And I have had to do this with my children. I have had to do this with a grandchildren struggling with a disability. I have had to do this with my finances. I have had to do this at times when there was trauma in our life and my husband had severe depression after the loss of his brother with suicide. There was another couple that drove 3 hours last night. They're in our company, they're in Frequenz, and they're a big proponent of invisible angels. They came with 8 black garden bags, massive lawn bags of clothes and shoes and blankets. And they came there. If you're following the moon, last night would have been 1 year since they lost their son in a traffic accident. If you're following the calendar, it would be the weekend of our summit, and they are coming to Dallas to our summit, even though they're in the first year of grief with the loss of a child. And watching her stand there and hand out Rise, a nootropic drink for the brain, and tell people how it will help them get through the day. Tell them it will help your brain feel happier. It will help you with the dopamine, the serotonin. It will help you with your moods. It'll help you with maybe your anger. It will help you with your heart pounding and your head racing. And she's handing it out. She's been through one of the worst years of her life as a mother with grief. She's looking for her opportunity to share her story, to empower a mom that is struggling. And watching her serve last night, her husband, men deal with grief so differently. Her husband was in line handing out the clothes that they brought. And I could tell with his broken heart standing there, just being involved in something and having a project and not sitting at home depressed and sad and angry and grieving. It was helping them as much as it was helping these people that were showing up. But the one girl that sat in the park with Julia, I saw Joe, the girl that does God's Bucket Brigade with her husband. I saw her run over there, and they were asking the girl with the hospital bracelet still on her arm, do you have your discharge papers? She wasn't going to show those discharge papers because her eyes were black and her chin was completely split in black and blue. There were marks on the back of her shirt. She was sweating. She was scared. She had trauma. And I want to tell you guys, to see Julia, who bought her own flight for $1,000 and flew from Florida to sit in that park. I said, Julia, what do you say to a girl that's been beaten and she wants to go back? This girl said to Julia, but I love him and he is God's child. And Julia said to this girl, he is God's child, but he doesn't love you or he wouldn't beat you. He's on his own journey with his own mental health. You don't have to keep going back. You have to know your worth. And we can pray for them, but we don't have to be the one to cure and change and do all the things that put us and our health in danger. And I got to tell you guys, it shook me to my core to go sit with Janice Markham and her son, who survived after he lost his older brother, and her husband, to sit there with Julia and think, Julia has all the wealth that she needs. They just bought another fourplex in Miami. Real estate has enabled her to create so much wealth. We did talk about real estate investing. Our husbands love it. We did talk about so many ways that you can create wealth and freedom. But do you know what we talked about the most? How we are going to take our opportunities and funnel the income that we have made from those opportunities into a movement that is going to create a ripple effect all over the world. You know, I think a lot of people don't understand tithing. And this is not to shame you. This is not to make you feel guilty. I want to tell you my experience. In 1992, Dave and I were living in Cody, Wyoming, and I had fled an abusive relationship. I was about to be married. And when I say abuse, I was never homeless in a park with my chin split open. I never had black eyes. Please don't feel like I'm playing the victim card here. I am not a victim. I am a victor. I grew up in a home where my dad struggled with a lot of anger. My dad struggled with a lot of trauma. My dad lost his only brother to suicide, just like Dave did. And if you don't think God had a plan to bring us together, you're crazy. I can see God's hand all over that. I had a single mom. Dave had a single mom. And at the time, my dad and I did not have a relationship. I hated that. I hated everything about it. But now, at the age of 55, with so much forgiveness in my heart and all love and no grudge, I think about my dad 35 years ago, 45 years ago. Think about it. I was 6 years old when he lost his brother. His mom married an alcoholic when she remarried. He beat her to the point she was hospitalized on the regular. This whole generational curse, you got to think about how you break out of that. My dad was not living in an era where you could say, I need support with my mental health. My dad was not living in an era where you could say, I'm sad. Men didn't get sad. Think of the caveman back in the day. He was the protector. He was the one, right? How do you process that? And then you got to add another layer on it. My dad's brothers and sisters, 6 out of 7 were all addicts. 6 out of 7, prison, drug dealing, stealing, lying. My uncle, who I adored, he was like my best friend in the whole world, was my dad's little brother. We were about the same age. He was in high school when I was in high school. So my grandmother had a child within 3 years of my dad having me. And that little brother that was his stepbrother grew up being the baby. I want you to imagine the feeling of abandonment, grief, abuse, addiction, alcoholism, watching his mom being beat. You live what you learn. Remember that. And if you want your kids to see a different life, you have to create that different life. I almost married the exact personality that I had seen and loved as a dad. And I thought it was okay if someone cheated on me. I thought it was okay if someone had outbursts of anger. I thought it was okay if I was treated like I was not valuable. Until I got on my knees and prayed that God would show up. And let me tell you guys, he did. Oh my goodness, I see Mike Provost on here. Mike was on a plane one day in the midst of my worst part of my journey. And I got to tell you how God shows up. Not only did God show up and bring me my husband of 32 years in a time when I was about to marry what I thought was love because it was habit, what I thought I deserved because it was all I could get. I had bought my own engagement ring. That's how desperate I was. I did not have self-confidence. I didn't know how God would use me someday, but he took me from chapter 2 to chapter 200. And all you got to do is ask. So I was on a plane with Mike. Didn't know it was Mike. And June 11th, 3 years ago, Now, you guys got to understand, I've raised 3 beautiful children. I have 5 beautiful grandchildren. I have an incredible company. I have been through it, but I just keep getting back up, keep getting back up. And we were launching Frequence. And launching Frequence was because of surviving the loss of Dave's mom. So we created a mineral that would help to alkalize the body and give you all the minerals you need and get the toxins out. And I had battled, I remember praying with my mom. Driving back from the lake was so much anxiety, and calling Maxandra, my friend who would pray with us, and just praying that Brooklyn would survive and live. Brooklyn was in an abusive relationship. She was living in a house where there was a lot of drugs. She was isolating. She had been sober for 4 years. Then she had relapsed. My hair was falling out. I had shingles. I was 40 pounds overweight. I was trying to run companies. I would drive to the lake to be with my husband. I would have an anxiety attack. I would drive 5 hours home to stay at my mom's. I was literally that upset. I would call Maxandra. We would pray out loud. We would read the scriptures. I would surrender it to the Lord. And it just wasn't getting better. I mean, there were days I was like, is God ever going to show up? And sometimes it gets worse before it gets better. But during that time, I had so much discernment. And I prayed with so much discernment. I kept believing even when my faith was grim. And I kept hoping even when there would be multiple signs of you should just give up and walk away, like so many families do. So many of those people in the homeless park last night are in the homeless park because their family said, you're making this choice. We're done with you. Get out of our house. We're not going to put up with your drugs and your alcohol and your dumb, stupid decisions. And they don't have anyone. They are good people. They have a disease. They make poor choices, like the girl that keeps going back to the guy that beats her because they don't know what they do. They don't mean to hurt their family. They don't mean to lose their children, abandon their family, whatever. They're just trying to feel good. And the reason why we started this Feel Good Now revolution is because I've been the mom, I've been the wife, I've been the daughter-in-law. I have seen so much of this for so many years. It's every bit of my being, you guys. It is what makes my heart go, ba-beat, ba-beat. I was on a plane. Mike Provost was right next to me. I will never forget it. Dave and I were flying to Nashville. We were about to launch this nootropic. Marina Simone, who's a blue diamond in our company, had 17 top leaders at a Franklin, Tennessee mansion for me to fly in and meet. And it was June 11th. My daughter, Brooklyn, was living with us. She had survived an overdose on fentanyl. I had flown back to the States. I was in another country. I had taken her to the lake, locked her up, took her to treatment, took her to church, took her to meetings. I had done everything I knew to do as a mom. And eventually I had to surrender that there's nothing I could do. It was Brooklyn's decision. But I would spend the rest of my life and I would do something to make impact. So I sold a med spa that I owned. I sold our best Airbnb called the Cardinal House with all of Dave's mom's furniture in it. We sold her home where Dave grew up. We invested our savings and we created this drink, the drink I was serving last night in the park. It's called Rise, and created it with a formulator who also created a very famous drink that you probably know of with a very massive influencer who literally runs like massive sports. I'm not going to do name dropping or anything, but I will tell you at the time, 5 years ago, there was only one mushroom drink that people really knew of. And our formulator said, I can help you make one that's better, stronger. And we tuned it, embedded it with biofrequencies. So your emotions, my emotions of grief, fear, anxiety, regret, just all the stuff, your emotions send a signal to every organ in your body. It's why you break out with hives. Why I break out with hives when I have anxiety. It's why you get diarrhea. It's why you can't sleep. It's why your back is out. It's why you say, oh, my stomach, and you have acid, because your emotions create a frequency that go to every organ in your body. It's why you get sick. It's why my mother-in-law is not here today, because stress is the silent killer that creates that dis-ease in the body. Dis-ease in the body causes disease. And that day, I was a broken girl launching a company with a hope that somebody was going to drink this drink, feel good now, and tell the world about it. And when I called that day on the plane, I said, Max, I need you to pray with me. Because as Dave and I pulled up to the airport that day, Brooklyn had a warrant for her arrest. And she had been staying at our house for over a year. Even if I knew she wasn't going to be on fentanyl, she wasn't going to be on opiates, she wasn't going to be on the streets, even if I kept her in the house, it didn't fix what had already been done. She had to do the time. And that day, as I'm showing up as a CEO, going to do a meeting in Franklin, Tennessee at a mansion, I'm getting on a plane with my husband. We are on a corporate Zoom at the airport. I get a call and Brooklyn says, Mom, the cops are here and I'm going to have to go and I'm scared. And I had two choices: cancel my trip and drive back home where I could do nothing but sit outside the jail and cry, or keep going. And I don't know if any of you have ever felt this, but that feeling of helplessness when you literally don't know what to do. You can't breathe. You can't change it. You can't fix it. You can't control it. You can't cure it. And as I was praying with Maxandra, there was a guy sitting next to me. He had shades on. I had no idea that he was famous. And little did I know, he was working with Morgan Wallen. He was working with Post Malone. He was in the music industry. And he shared with me a story of his own battles running a massive company. Used to run the Rolling Stone magazine. You guys helped to sell Rolling Stone. Now, I truly believe that God put that man in the seat right next to me, if to say nothing more than, I've been in your shoes. I've ran a big company. I've had someone that I love in my life. He said he had had his children call before because his wife had struggled and they would be trying to wake her up. I will never forget it. I will never forget him reaching over saying, just keep going. You're going to be okay. And if you ever want someone to team up with, if you ever want to get a sponsor, maybe instead of an NFL player, look to the music industry. And holds up his phone with Post Malone sending a selfie. And God puts me right next to this man. You guys, God will show you signs to keep going. He will line up all the resources. He will bring you the right people. He will not only take your victim story and make you a victor. He will bless you 10 times for any struggle that you've been through. I assume the music business is just as hard as direct selling. At the time, Morgan Wallen had thrown a chair off a balcony and he was in the news. It wasn't good. I was at a Morgan Wallen concert 2 weeks ago, and let me tell you guys, he was sober. There was water on the microphones. His shows are completely different 2 years later than they were 2 years ago. And that trip, I showed up. I did the meeting. I did the hard thing. I cried, but I got up and I did the hard thing. And I'll tell you guys, when I look in the eyes of this little boy, I would do all the hard things again and again and again and again to create freedom.
In 3 months, Grandma.
Oh, he's 3 months old today, guys. This is Crew. A legacy, generations, where you know that someday this little boy is going to say, that's my grandma. That was my grandma. She did the hard things. She went in the homeless park when I was 3 months old, and she could have been home with me eating steak, but she was down in the homeless park helping the girl that was struggling. That's right, Crew. That's what we're going to do forever.
Come on.
Oh, Grandpa's going to steal him from me. Mm-hmm. Well, I want him to see his beautiful blue eyes. Look at these beautiful blue eyes, guys. Does he not look just like his mommy and his grandpa? No, he looks exactly like his daddy. Look at that smile. Grandpa Dave, make him smile. Make him do his giggle.
Giggling.
Show him your giggles. Show him your giggles. Oh, my God. If you guys need some therapy, this is my therapist. I just stand and do this for hours. They call me the baby burglar, because there's nothing more important in my life than my Lord and Savior and my family. I'm telling you guys, I think about my family, and when I think about Brooklyn and what she's been through, I know that God has a plan for her. When I think about Chance and everything that he's been through, I know that God has a plan for him. When I think about Callie and Darian, when we started this company, Darian was playing professional basketball and literally had what could have been a career-ending injury. Came back home, got well, got a contract to go play, had another injury. Got another contract, went to Spain, new baby coming, new baby being born the week that it would have been like the biggest week of his career. And every single one of us has different talents. Every single one of us has a different purpose. Every single one of us has dreams and goals. My dreams might not be your dreams, but I want to tell you something. God does have a plan for you in the middle of the grief, in the middle of the addiction, in the middle of the abuse, in the middle of the bankruptcy, in the middle of the cancer, in the middle of the loss of a loved one, a spouse or a child, in the middle of whatever you're going through. If we took everyone on this live stream right now and we said, let's normalize trauma. This is what Julia and I talked about last night. Let's normalize trauma. Drop in the comments one word that describes your trauma. If we could just normalize it and you didn't have to struggle in silence, if there was just a safe place that you could really show up and not have to be like, oh, my wife or my daughter or my son or whoever is an addict, like you don't have to carry that. There is a safe place. We created that community. We created a community where you can literally show up with authenticity, no judgment, no label, and people will meet you right where you are. One day, Barb Pitcock will create a complete campus. I'm telling you, there is going to be a trauma nurse and doctor. There is going to be addiction and recovery. There is going to be a getting it together course with couples. There is going to be an investing course. There is going to be a place where those homeless women in the park can just show up with a device, and we're going to teach them how to make money online and never have to worry about their self-esteem. There are going to be networking connections where you can get whatever you need, because there's going to be a volunteer, not a $30,000 treatment center that scams you and won't take you if you don't need detox. Like, I don't know how many times I showed up with Brooklyn and we were ready and there wasn't a bed. I'm telling you guys, the system is so broken, and I can't fix everyone. I can't control, cure, change. I can't do any of that, but I will die on this mountain saying, if we could have a little more love and we could be a little more kind and we could understand that everybody's fighting a battle that nobody knows. Just be a good human. Just be a good human. Bring value. The money will chase you down. You don't see me flashing all the stuff, because if you took everything away from me that I had, I would still get it back and more, because it's not on me. It's not a watch. It's not a diamond. It's not a car. It's not a house. It's in me. It is in me. And I am telling you, I love what I do. I show up here every Saturday morning, even though they're ready to go to the farmer's market before our training call. I'm never missing a day of showing up to bring you value, to love you, to serve you, and to encourage you to keep going, and to tell you that you are not alone. This company is changing people's lives, but your story is needed. You have a story that needs to be told. You have a book that needs to be written. Don't go to your grave with a song unsung because you're dealing with shame, regret, or feeling judgment or not valued. I'm telling you, you are enough. You have everything you need, and I'm here for it, to see you win so big and to see God move when you move. I can't wait to hear your success story. And if you're looking for guidance, and if you're wondering, like, how do I find my purpose? How do I find my passion? How do I find my opportunity? Maybe it's Airbnb. Maybe it's direct sales. Maybe it's, I don't know what yours is, but I will tell you, I can direct you to a book. I can point you to a mentor. I can get you to a course. I can help you find what it is that you need to really be able to show up in alignment with so much purpose and so much passion and make so much impact. And I'm telling you, when you do that, the money will chase you down. We live in America where you can dream and be and do and have anything that you ever desire. You just have to believe it. So reach out if you need any resources or support or books or guidance or anything, and I will have my assistant help me get you whatever it is that I could offer, just to be a mentor to you, just to be a mentor to you and say, don't give up, keep going. You are absolutely enough. I hope you guys have an amazing Saturday, and I look forward to seeing you next Saturday on No Guts, No Story. If you got some value out of this, please drop in the comments, what was your one takeaway? What was your one takeaway today, your aha moment? I would love to know. And drop in the comments, what is the trauma that you need to get past? Just one word, because you are not alone. And there is someone out there that is going to show up with open arms and love you through it and encourage you through it. An invisible angel that's going to be like, I got you. Let's do this. You guys have an amazing day. Thank you for tuning in. Please hit the share button. Please tag a friend. And just dropping a comment helps the algorithm. Drop a bunch of comments, because the more interaction that we have, the more people are going to hear this message. I love you guys. Have an amazing week.